Hey, everybody. How are you? How are you? Hope everybody is doing well today. We've got a lot to talk about with what is going on this weekend. I wanted to do this live because I've been talking about this all morning in the morning messages. But I wanted to do this live and do a reading specifically about these occurrences, just, work with the energy of what's going on right now around the eclipse season is just about to kick off tomorrow. We've got a new moon in Taurus. I believe it's 10 degrees in Taurus. We've got Pluto retrograding today, which I didn't even talk about yet, which I will talk about a little bit in this live. And I want to talk to you about eclipses and about this new moon energy. I'll talk a little bit about May in general. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., all of the individual zodiac readings for May are going up on the channel, so you'll see that. But let's get right to it. Let's talk about what an eclipse is, and let's talk in terms of your experience of it. And I'll talk a little bit about who may be most affected with this too. Okay, so eclipses are dynamic energy portals. They are activation energy. And you might know this, you might not know this, but eclipses activate North Node. So for those of you who are on my channel for, more than 5 minutes, you know that I talk about the North Node all the time. It is your mission and pathway on this earth. This is what your soul chose to do. The thing you're here to master in this life is your North Node energy. And when we talk about eclipses, it's almost like a ping. It's like getting things going. Okay. So right now, actually last fall or late last year, the North Node moved into Taurus. Okay. We saw that eclipse late last year. Now we're having an eclipse in Taurus, again, a new moon eclipse. And new moons are about manifesting. They're about sending out into the world what you want to create in this life. For those of you who have North Node in Taurus, so North Node in Taurus, if you have North Node in Taurus, that means you have South Node in Scorpio. If you have that placement or the reverse of it, if you have North Node in Scorpio and South Node in Taurus, you'll also be impacted more strongly than maybe the rest of us are. If you have your North Node in the second house, which is the natural placement for Taurus, or North Node in 8th house, which is the natural placement for Scorpio, you may not see those signs in those houses, but if you do have your North Node or even a lot of planets and everything in the second house, especially, you will be more impacted than the collective, okay? Because we're talking about a transit right now. North Node moves in retrograde. It moved from Gemini into Taurus. It's going to stay there for about 18 months. So about the next 18 months, you're going to see and be able to work with this energy. Astrology is all about surfing the energy. It doesn't mean like, oh, I'm totally doomed if this is it's not that. Okay. So see a placement in what you're doing or in your astrology, your birth chart, and be like, oh, I can surf that energy now because I understand it's about balancing it. That's how you surf with the energy. So eclipses are dynamic portals for energy. The nodes are karmic pathways for us, and these can show massive shifts in your life. So even if you don't have those placements that I just outlined, thank you, Empathic Lady. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Even if you don't have those placements, you're still likely on some level to be impacted by this transit, okay, by the eclipse season, which is kicking off tomorrow. So what does it mean to have the eclipse in Taurus, which is effectively activating this North Node energy? Nodes are the nodes of the moon, so that's why it's connected, because it's a node of the moon. The lesson here is to trust. The lesson here is to do things that make you feel and know that you are safe. So, North Node in Taurus or North Node in the second house is about I possess. This has to do with material choices that express our values. So go look at your bank account. What are you spending money on? Those are your priorities. And do they make you feel safe and valued and feeling like you're feathering your nest? Or do they make you feel like you are, in a good place? Do they make you feel unsafe? Maybe if you're spending too much money or too much time, it can make you feel a little unsafe, like you don't kind of know where you are. So this lesson is about learning to trust. It is here to help us to learn to trust more when it comes to relationships, when it comes to a lot of different things. It's also asking us not to overwork or underwork. So if you have this toxic productivity that we've been talking about on the channel for a while, we talk a lot about that in North Node classes. Thanks, Scott. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. If you have been we've been talking about the toxic productivity this week a lot, and that comes from a culture that you're working in. It can come from your family's values. And now over the next 18 months, you may take another look at that. Am I doing what I really want to do? Or am I just on autopilot because somebody somewhere along the line said this was good for me? But if it's not good for you and it's not making you feel like you're creating something of value for yourself, you may be overworking or underworking. You may not be putting enough energy and time into something, or you may be doing too much, right? There's a little bit of effortless effort required by you. You also may be too giving, too trusting, you might be in that energy of over giving to someone, hoping that they like you or something like that. That can be codependency, can show up with this Taurus new moon. It's asking you not to put up too many walls, too many boundaries, but make good boundaries with people. Learn to really assert your boundaries and learn to talk about them unemotionally, without drama. Okay, that's what good boundaries are. It's about saying, this is what I need and this is how I feel, or this is what I feel I need. And the other person can choose to do it or not do it. It's really not, that's not the thing. It's about, okay, well, if they choose to keep running over my boundaries, then maybe I'm going to leave this. It's not making me feel safe. I don't feel good about it. This Taurus new moon is connected to the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, that energy of feeling empowered and safe and like I'm moving along. This new moon can also trigger a little bit about sex being your undoing. Thanks, Crystal. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you put yourself out there too much to gain someone's approval, sex can be one of the ways we do this. We can also be, putting more money into the pot or taking care of someone in an unhealthy way. All right, so I'm going to take a look at this, and I'm going to do a little reading for you about this new moon in Taurus. And all of those lessons are going to be shown to us over the next year and a half. In the new moon energy, this is what's kicking it off. Okay, thank you very much, Maria. Thank you. Sylvia, how are you? So what I do want to say to you is halfway through May, we are going to experience a full moon in Scorpio. So if this new moon in Taurus is more about like feeling good and doing things that are healthy for us, that full moon in Scorpio may have us purging things that are toxic for us. That's some dark energy there. Scorpio forces us to kind of go into things really deeply and be like, am I working around money too much? Or am I thinking about money too much? Is it becoming an obsession? Am I becoming obsessed with something? So that we'll do another reading later in the month for that. But right now, I just want you to focus in on the Taurus new moon tomorrow. And I also want to say, okay, discovering truth. This jumped out, so I'm going to pull that. I also want to say that today we have Pluto in retrograde. Pluto going retrograde, and that'll be in retrograde for until October. Let me pull this card. And what's happening with that? Navigating by the stars is in reverse. Oh my goodness. Cleansing waters. These two are in reverse. Okay. So navigating by the stars and cleansing waters. This is about letting go. If it's right, it's about, if it's in reverse, it's like we're resisting this kind of energy of release. And in a new moon, that makes sense to me because we're kind of like, let's hang on. Let's see what's going on. Let's manifest something for ourselves. Some of you may be in this position of discovering truth, and it may cause you to not be very trusting. It may cause you to go like that. So this might have to do something with your boundaries. And it's interesting that this showed up when I was talking about Pluto and retrograde, which is happening today. Pluto going retrograde. Pluto is the energy of transformation. It is tower moments in a lot of people's lives. And Pluto in retrograde really means that we are going to be given an opportunity. Thank you, Ilana. Thank you. We're going to be given an opportunity to see our wounds. So some things may show up that may open up our wounds and give us an opportunity to really flush it out, not flush it out. Okay. So it seems to me that that's going to be happening over the next 2 weeks until we reach that Scorpio full moon. That's when things get released. So for now, focusing on, the reason of the full moon or the new moon in Taurus is really helping us learn to trust more, and that you're doing things that are keeping you safe. Okay, so let's see where we go here. Pluto in retrograde can make you feel not that safe. So I'm just saying that for you. Okay, King of Pentacles, very Taurian energy there. Seven of Cups. Some of you might need to work on your money more. Okay, you may need to be in better charge of your money. Okay, money flows in, money flows out. All of that's true for every single one of us. But are you in charge of it? Are you in control of it? The spiritual business class, which we just wrapped up our last session of live Q&A on Tuesday, we talk a lot about your business, and we talk about knowing your numbers and things like that. That's what this is about. It's like, are you in control of your money, or is your money kind of just doing its own thing, and it's not really, you're not in control of it at all? You might need to work on that. Yeah, message coming through about that. Page of Swords, Fool. All right, let me lay this out. Oh boy. Hanged Man, Five of Wands, Four of Swords, and the outcome is the Six of Cups. So I do see Queen of Pentacles here. All right, I do see Queen of Pentacles here. The very last thing I'm seeing is be careful the choices you make about lovers or partnerships or anything like that. Taurus is a very good business person, and Taurus is saying to you, before you get involved in any kind of commitment, you want to make sure that everybody understands the expectations that we have. Okay. So you want to say, well, if we're going to live together, or if we're going to do a business together, this is what I believe I'm saying. We need to define your terms. Okay. Right now, this is a great time to do this. This new moon is really going to give you that opportunity. And if you make choices that are not like that, if you're kind of just like, oh, well, it'll all work out, and be too trusting, then you could have some problems. So this is asking you to be better at that, be better at putting things, I know some of us, especially empaths, can feel awkward about contracts or saying what I need to people. This new moon, especially tomorrow and for the next 18 months, you may see that, boy, if you start off with this intention of, I'm going to be clear without emotion. Okay, this is elemental air with the Fool and the Page of Swords here. I'm going to be clear and without emotion. A little Queen of Swords. Okay, clear without emotion. This is what I need. This is what I expect. This is what my boundary is. That is going to serve you very well. This is an opportunity for freedom. Okay, so sometimes we can feel that having contracts or having things written down, though it might be awkward at first, is going to work in your favor. And it's time to not be emotional about it. It's time to, because if you kind of get stuck in this kind of feeling, you can have some conflict with people. And conflict is the way that we grow, that's for sure. But this conflict might be inner conflict that I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to look at my money. I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. But the thing is, what's being asked of you is think about this differently. Whatever is kind of coming up between you and other people, if you don't do these things, this is likely to get a lot bigger. So if you talk about this in the beginning and say, you know what, I really want to talk with you about how we're, what are we doing here? It's like a lot of you come to the channel, not just my channel, because you have confusion about a relationship. And that can come from not having good boundaries. It can also come from not speaking up, like, listen, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is what I want. I'm looking for a relationship. If you're not looking for a relationship or commitment, then this isn't going to work for me. And, being honest about things and having a sense of timing. Okay. Taurus in this new moon energy is kind of helping us. Taurus is very good at time. Taurus, if you look at, I'm going to talk about, let's see, the Empress card is Taurus and Libra, right? And we got Libra here. We're talking about Taurus. So the Empress card is the quintessential nurturing energy. So self-nurturing energy is about being really good about these conversations, being balanced, being grounded, and knowing your own truth, knowing your own kind of blind spots when it comes to relationships or money or how you're spending your time and energy, and setting it straight. Let's set the record straight on this for the universe. Let's really get to the place where we are seeing things from a different perspective. So the conflict isn't really a thing. You may have a minimum amount of conflict in the beginning, Page of Swords, because you're clearing up any kind of confusion for yourself. You're saying, okay, in relationships, I tend to kind of jump in with both feet. And then I realize there's some misunderstandings that turns into fights. There's some feelings of being taken advantage of because we haven't really said what we mean and mean what we say. We're afraid to do that. So Six of Cups, this is a very nice energy of nostalgia. It's about kind of looking back at your life, looking back at what are the times when you didn't take care of yourself, you didn't have these conversations, you didn't. And then the flip side of it is there can be an overabundance of, I must have everything written down, I's dotted, T's crossed, way early on, in a way that is off-putting, okay? In a way that is like, you're basically telling the other person that if they step 1 foot out of line, you're just going to shit can them, okay? So that's also not productive in this energy. How you might want to walk this line is, as we're talking about what we're doing here, try to define terms and give yourself a time period of this relationship is showing up. Maybe this is somebody coming back or somebody new, but I'm going to give myself a couple of months to really see what this is like. And because I think relationships are largely experiential, you can have had a lot of them or enough to know yourself. But every single time we get in a relationship, it usually means there's a new lesson here, or there's something that might be be happening that I never have encountered before. So I don't want to say like, oh, I know it all. I've come from this relationship history and I am like Queen of Swords of every kind of love there is, and I know everything. And I don't feel like that's really the case. I feel like every relationship gives us a stage and a platform for new learning. So you can do what you can do, and there's likely going to be additional, misunderstandings and things. But if you start off with an intention that, hey, we're on the same page. Hey, you're not married and I am ready, right? And I am looking for this. Are you looking for the same? Okay, well, we're on the same page. And just see where things evolve. I like that this is evolving into something of a, I'm sorry, I'm going to shut that off. Something of a, let's see, evolving into a legal document, a legal, this is a soulmate that is very destiny driven. There's something about this next relationship that's showing up, that's coming up here for me as I'm reading this for all y'all, that there's something very fated about this next relationship. And so I guess what Spirit is using me to raise the flag that, hey, this could be a really long-term relationship coming up. Let's start it out in a way that will allow us to expand and grow and not feel constrained, but also not feel like we're just kind of like going along for the ride. A lot of confusion in relationships is caused because we're afraid to speak our truth about our own needs. And so that is something to look at. Okay. Let's keep going here. Hi, Charlie. Let's keep going here. Oh, yeah, let me do this. All right. So I'm seeing Sag and Gemini. I'm seeing Pisces and Libra. I'm seeing the earth signs here. So there is something here for all y'all. If you are that sign, or if you're dealing with that sign, let me continue on here. I'm going to clarify a few things here. The Six of Cups. Why is the Six of Cups here? Fool. Again, the Fool. Queen of Cups. High Priestess. Oh, beautiful. Eight of Pentacles. Look at this. Five of Pentacles showing up again. Hierophant. Some of you are attracting in a person who is a spiritual partner. I do see this as a very destiny-oriented. If you are walking this path that we're talking about, if this is resonating for you in any way, or if messages here are resonating for you in any way, I feel like you might be on the path to something big, okay? On the path to something big. Now, it can go, if you do this, if you do what we're talking about in this energy, you have a choice here. You can put in the work now, or you can have like tower moments and craziness and all kinds of stuff, because this person is a destined, fated partner, okay? This High Priestess here, we're adding Cancerian energy into the mix. And here's Taurus, okay? This could be a life partner situation. And let me get some timing on this and see when this is happening, because we're talking about kind of a big time frame here. Timing could be 5. Let's see. Aries energy, Judgment. Wow. Okay. Page of Cups. Some of you know a little bit about May's astrology. You might know that there are 3 planets going to be in Aries: Mars and Jupiter and Venus, right? Mars and Venus, divine masculine, divine feminine. And we have Jupiter also in Aries energy. So in May, this is something that is beginning. This is like a very new kind of energy beginning. And I feel like if you're kind of aligning with what I'm talking about here, for May, you are going to recognize this opportunity. It's possible that this person is not, I'm not going to say not available, because they are available, but it is very subtle. And you might have this sense of differentiation. Like, it doesn't show up with a lot of loud passion. It shows up in a kind of a Taurus way, which is a very like, we need to trust each other before we can get into a relationship. A lot of times we jump in and then we realize our trust issues. Then we realize all this stuff. So in May, we're going to have this opportunity to not jump in, but still have this kind of sweet beginning. Take it slow. In other words, take it slow and, kind of channel your inner Taurus if you can. I am seeing, so I will do some, let's see, Aries is showing up. Aries, Cancerian energy, Taurus energy, Libra energy, Sag, Pisces, and Gemini. So any kind of special, let's pull some cards for those signs. For some reason, those are showing up as pretty loud. So in the beginning of this reading, if you didn't catch it, the ones who are maybe most affected by this new moon and eclipse energy are those that have North Node in Taurus, or North Node in Taurus, or North Node in Scorpio, or you might have your North Node in the 2nd house or the 8th house. Those are the people that are most affected by this. But if you're resonating with this, then you're going to be affected by this. Messages for Aries. That one jumped out. Messages for Aries. 4 of Swords in reverse, 6 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and 9 of Swords. I feel like this is the message for Aries is about not jumping in. I feel like later on you'll be sorry that you did that. It's okay. Now, Four of Swords says to me that Aries still needs to do a little more healing before they're ready. So the message to Aries is do something now. Okay. Do something now to heal all of the situations, all of these kind of energies that we're talking about. The energy is maybe a lack of trust or something like that. Aries needs to work on that. Let me pull this off so I don't get confused here. Okay. So that was Aries. The next sign is Cancerian energy. If you're a Cancerian, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, let's see if this message is for you. It's only the signs that are showing up in this reading I'm going to do. Two of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So for Cancerians out there, this really is about sitting in some of the lessons that you have learned over the past 9 months. Okay. This is going to be very passionate and inspiring. If you can really invest your time or invest what you've learned in this new relationship, it's going to have to be less heart driven for you and more, you got to kind of remind yourself about these, the patterns you've had, the things you've healed, the things you've learned, because you're learning a new skill. Okay. So Cancerians, you're going to have to, instead of just like jumping into the love and the passion of it, going to be a little more plodding. Okay. Cancerians, you're going to need that. What about Taurus? Only the signs that are showing up in this reading am I doing. Taurus, Queen of Pentacles, King of Wands, Hanged Man, and the Justice card. Wow. So Taurus energy, if you are a Taurus, then this is definitely an opportunity for a life partner coming in. This is somebody who is stable and solid, and there will be passion and there will be connection. But Taurus, you may have to bring in some different kind of energy to this relationship than you've had in the past. I think the Justice card here is saying to me that everything I talked about with like, let's see where we're going. Are we on the same page? Doing all of those things too is going to be especially important for Taurus. Okay. Libra. I have Libra, Sag, Pisces, then Gemini. Libra. All right. Libra, Ace of Cups, Nine of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, and the Temperance energy. My goodness. Libra has really done a good job of working on themselves, seeing their patterns. Libra is ready. Libra's like, bring it. So, okay. So Libra, I know you're ready. I'm just getting that exuberant feeling from Libra. What about Sag? Oh my goodness. All right. What about Sag? King of Cups, Five of Swords, King of Swords, and the Fool. The Fool again. Wow. Sag, this is an important time to institute better communication. And you may think you're good at communication because Gemini is your opposite sign. You have something in common with Gemini, and I'll do Gemini in a second here. But sometimes you may have a hard time communicating when it's your feelings that are at stake, and you may end up behaving a little too cool or aloof for people. That's something to work on for Sag, okay? Pisces and then Gemini. Pisces, Two of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and the Six of Cups. Pisces, it's all about self-confidence. Stay on your center, okay? This is a decision you're making. This is a logical choice that you're making, and it is something new to stay on your center and try not to get knocked off based on other people's needs or desires, and also not, getting yourself swamped by them, but being better at boundaries is really what's going on for Pisces. Okay. You're also coming up with this. There's something about resentment that needs healing. If you find yourself not communicating very well, Pisces, in relationships, and then later feel resentful, this is for you. It's time to really get rid of that pattern. All right. What about Gemini? And that's the final sign, Gemini. What about Gemini? 10 of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, the moon, and the Three of Cups. I think Gemini, you might not know how deeply you want certain things in relationships until people run afoul of that. So it might be something, Gemini, to really, you really do need to go back. Some of you are going back to your family patterns and seeing how your parents' marriage worked or didn't work, seeing how love was treated in your families. Some of you have some deep connection to things that went wrong with your parents or things that went wrong in your family. And so you might not know uh, until you trip across these red flags in relationships. But it's time to like kind of look at it, try to look at it through the lens of your family. And that may help you understand what you want and what you don't want in relationships. Okay. So those are all the signs. If you're looking for an individual zodiac reading for May, they will be posted tomorrow morning, Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Each one has an extended with it. We're going to put it all in one video so it's easy for you to access. But that's going to happen tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So this reading for me makes me feel like it's really time to scan what we're putting time and effort into, and is it really tracking with our values? That's what we really want to look at. So a couple of cards for you now while I close this out. Alchemical artist, allow your work to become your art. Ancestor, okay, say yes to your open door. Some of you have been working really, really hard on this. I mean, a lot of you, I see the comments. You guys are doing your work. And now I do feel like ancestors are bringing in these people, right? You've done your stuff to the degree that you need to, right? We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect by the close of play, but we are working on it. There's very little resistance here, I'm feeling. And so this next opportunity that comes in, it's time to have these conversations. It really is. We shouldn't dismiss that Pluto is in retrograde, and that is happening today. I teach a class called Plutonic Relationships versus Twin Flame Relationships. And a lot of us can get that wrong. We can feel like we know that this person's our twin flame, but they're really a Plutonic energy. And Plutonic, not Platonic, Plutonic means Pluto is about transformation, change from a deep soul searching, soul sucking kind of getting all the toxicity that you can handle so you can work through this. You might want to pay attention to Pluto in your own chart. Since we have Pluto retrograde until October, there's going to be relationships and things that come up that trigger us in deep kinds of ways, that trigger us to do more kind of deep soul work, soul healing. And, I want you just to, keep that, put a pin in that. Okay. Keep that in mind, because this relationship that's coming in can really activate this energy for you. I want you to pay attention to Pluto in your chart. And when you have somebody coming in, you might want to see how Pluto works between you. If they are a Plutonic relationship, you're going to have a lot of Pluto aspects between the two of you. And that's going to indicate to you that, okay, this person is here for a transformational reason. And that's why we get confused, because they are similar to twin flames. But once that reason is done, that Plutonic person, you could call it a karmic, is gone. Okay. Once you get that lesson, or once you have that experience, that person exits your life for good. Okay. It's not the same thing as twin flame. So that's why those two things are not the same at all. So if you want to take that class, I feel like I'm going to recommend it to you. Plutonic relationships versus twin flame relationships. That is in our description box. If you want to go over and look at all the classes we teach, that might be interesting to you, especially in this energy. So for some reason, the ancestors are saying, hey, listen, there's something that wants to come through here for you. Don't shy away from it. Even if it is a Plutonic relationship, don't shy away from it. But just know that all the work you've been doing is likely going to be put to the test. Okay? Likely to be put to the test. All right, my darlings. So that's it for me today. Tomorrow we are having that new moon in Taurus, kicking off eclipse season. I'll do another reading like this. I'll do a Friday live right before we have the full moon in Scorpio. That's going to be another big deal. Tomorrow morning, the May readings are going up, individual zodiac readings, if you're looking for that information. All right. So happy Friday to you guys. Happy weekend to you guys. And much love. We'll see you later.